Gene Stearns has always been determined to change the world for the better. His intellect and vision have allowed him the opportunity to help shape Florida's history. Stearns earned a Bachelor of Arts degree at Florida State University in 1966, followed by a Juris Doctor from the College of Law in 1972. As a law student, Stearns worked in Florida government during a particularly pivotal time in the state's political history. His intellect and talent allowed him the opportunity to serve the Florida House of Representatives, including a role with the Constitutional Revision Committee, 2 years as committee staff for the House Committee on Governmental Reorganization, and 2 years as Chief of Staff to House Speaker Richard Pettigrew. Stearns also worked with Ruben Askew's campaign for governor of Florida, playing a critical role in Askew's successful election. Stearns developed a relationship with the now Governor Askew as a trusted confidant. Upon graduating, Stearns made an unexpected career choice, leaving politics in favor of an associate position at a Miami law firm. Over the years, Stearns has earned himself a reputation as an astute trial lawyer. He's been recognized countless times, earning recognition including Top 100 Trial Lawyers, Best Lawyers in America, and Florida's Legal Elite. Stearns is the founder and chairman of the board of directors of Stearns, Weaver, and Miller, a powerhouse law firm serving clients throughout Florida, nationwide, and internationally. Among countless noteworthy victories, Stearns finds the time to take on a host of public policy issues, mostly on a pro bono basis. While maintaining a successful and demanding law practice, Stearns also makes his family a priority. He has celebrated more than 4 decades of marriage to his wife, Diana, also a graduate of Florida State. He considers it one of his greatest accomplishments that all 3 of his children graduated from his beloved alma mater, Florida State University. His family remains close, making quality time a priority to be shared amongst his growing family, wife, son, daughters, sons-in-law, grandchildren, and more. Stearns continues to give his time and talent to his beloved university. He was instrumental in the university matching gift program, returns to campus often for alumni networking and social events, and to share his wealth of knowledge and experience as a guest lecturer at the College of Law. In recognition of his many years of public service and his devotion to his alma mater, the FSU Alumni Association is proud to name Gene Stearns as one of Florida State University's Grads Made Good.
What an honor it is to be here, and some of what you just heard is true. I must begin by thanking Sandy Dallenberg and John Thrasher particularly for improving the quality of my 2 diplomas. It is much too late to improve the quality of my education. I am proud, and my wife is proud, to have 3 children who also graduated from this university. Kara in 90, Jennifer in 90, Jennifer with JD degree in 94, Andrew graduated in 99, and surprisingly graduated from law school in 03. I'm proud to have 4 of our grandchildren here today, Josh and Joey and Hunter, and the youngest, Olivia, has no idea what's going on in here. But it's wonderful to have them here. 2 of our son-in-laws are out of the city today, and I'm sorry they couldn't be here. But our daughter-in-law, Gina, is here. And Gina, who received her degree from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and an MBA from Harvard, has been trying to overcome her inferior education and work her way. You know, when I was growing up, my mother, who read Poor Richard's Almanac too much, had homilies for us that we always had to listen, one of which was consistently, "Pride goeth before fall. Pride goeth before fall," she would say. And what she meant was, don't look back, look forward. Don't congratulate yourself on what you did, think about what you didn't do. Kenny Rogers said it differently and perhaps more persuasively when he said, don't count your money till the dealing's done. And so I'm 74 recently, and I'm not interested in stopping dealing. So it's painful to talk about the past because we do so much better when we think about the future. But when we have to look at the past, I did this exercise in connection with this talk, And it occurred to me how I got here, and intimately how our family got here. And it actually started in 1959. I was 15 years old, went to Carl Gables High School, and I met this cute girl, and I wasn't cute, so when she came up to me and struck up a conversation, I was surprised. And then she, at some point, asked me what I was going to do with my life, and having never thought about that at that point, I did not want to be appearing shiftless or useless, so I began to be creative. And I said, well, I think I'll be an architect. And the face that I got back was, bad idea. So, well, maybe a newspaper reporter. Nah, I'm not doing that either. So I said, well, you know what, maybe I'll go to law school and be a lawyer. And she had a big smile on her face, and I said, my career is set. And 2 years later, she said to me, we're going to Florida State University. And I said, terrific, where is it? And just think of how sad our life would have been if she had said, we're going to the University of Florida. You know, Diana graduated after 3 years. I was on the John Belushi course, the one that President Thrasher said is a bad idea. I did get my undergraduate degree in 4 years. That was lickety-split. Took me a year of graduate school to learn that I didn't want to be a college professor. Then I managed to cram 3 years of law school into 5 years. I had a job that I thought was more important, working in the legislature. And the faculty of the law school didn't think so. In fact, I had a professor in real estate, in property once, who humiliated me in front of all of my classmates by saying at the end of the class, after being embarrassed, Mr. Stearns, you manifest an embarrassing lack of knowledge in the field of property. Which then followed every other class I went to. I was required to prove that I actually had studied and learned something, which I did. But the truth is that this university has been obviously an important part of our lives, our family's life. And it is a very, very, very special place for so many different ways. The faculty at the undergraduate college was just unbelievably remarkable, intelligent, caring, communicating their thrill of learning to a degree that just inspirational for young minds, and taught me, taught my family, that there's more to life than what you have, and the meaning of life is what you can do for others and learning about others. I had a history professor who walked into a class with a picture frame with no picture in it. And it's a remarkable experience to think, what is this man doing? And he says, here, I'm going to show you a lesson. What's the lesson? You and I are in the same room, same time, same place, but we're seeing something different. You have your frame of reference, I have mine. You see me, I see you. But our frame of reference is what defines what we see. And so the trick to understanding history, understand the history of civilization, and to understand the future is to always try to see someone else's frame of reference. See what the world looks like from their vantage point, not just from yours. And you say, how important is that? I tried lawsuits to judges and juries. I have never forgotten that message that I learned here at FSU. Now, there are other lessons you learn too. Professor Paul Picard, once I wrote a paper about the horrors of nuclear war. And he said, I agree, but face-to-face, cold-blooded killing with a knife ain't so much fun either. Okay? And that was a wake-up call. But his also wake-up call was, what's the definition of a world war, he says? When you get killed. And so the idea is that everything has a perspective, and the perspective is that you need to look and learn. The law school here, the faculty was phenomenal, unbelievable. What a preparation for being a lawyer. And I'm pleased Dean O'Connor is here, and I think that you have really tough shoes to fill. You've been filling them well for a bit, and I'm optimistic that it's going to be continuing upward bind going with the law school. But I do hearken back when I have a day like this, how we started. There was this day in August of 1962 when Diane and I walked onto the campus of Florida State University. We went first to her dormitory. And there, standing in front of her dormitory, was a guy who was president of the student body, whose name was Ken Boomer Van Assender. And he was there. I don't think he was interested in meeting me. He was introducing himself to all the freshman women going into the freshman dorms. That was an education when I began to learn that I had come to a university that used to be Florida State College for Women. I hadn't appreciated it until that point. And then we went to our first football game. And in the football game, all the men wore coats and ties, and they behaved decently. And we would then go to Florida, and all the guys in Florida were dressed like bums, and they had beer bellies, and they acted like drunken fools. And I said, I go to a university where people are grown up. What I didn't understand is we didn't have any old alums except women. We had a wonderful liberal arts education that had been built to serve a community of mature adults. But I also remember my first day in college after I dropped off Diana at Jenny Murphy, after the house mother told me that I should sit up and act like an adult when not slouch in the chairs. I remember that face and that name like it was yesterday. I go to Kellum Hall, and I'm assigned to room 401. So you go to Kellum Hall in room 401. It was a long, dark hallway. I mean, just a miserable place. I'm glad they tore it down. And you're not going to believe this. I'm from Miami, right? I'm even though my mother was from Thomasville, Georgia, and someone said I'm bilingual, I speak English and Southern. I'm walking down this hall, and there's this person sort of sprawled on the floor, leaning against the wall, playing a guitar, and singing, I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car. And I'm thinking, where have I gone? What have I done? Now that person, incidentally, I learned his name shortly thereafter, was James Harold Thompson. And of course, we know James Harold. He was a member of the legislature, became Speaker of the House, and I figured his successful career was driven by what was on the dashboard of his car. But because Tallahassee is the capital of a great state, and because this is a great university, the opportunity did exist for us to deal with the state government in a very positive way. And frankly, we were here during the golden age of Florida government, an extraordinary period. I got to work with people like Sandy Dallenberg. For a year, I was his only aide. And for those of you who know Sandy, can you imagine anything more miserable than that? Our dear friend Jim Smith introduced me to a young state senator named Reuben Askew. And what an opportunity it was to work with one of the finest human beings this world has ever known. Donna Lou, I'll never forget. The privilege, the honor it was to work for Reuben Askew. He was, you'd say he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't curse. But as he said to me, if you don't want to read about it in the front page of the Miami Herald, don't do it, don't think it, don't say it, and you never have to worry what you did. Where are people like Reuben Askew today? And what he did, think about this. I'm 26, 27 years old. I'm trying to go to law school, and I'm afforded the opportunity for the greatest governor Florida has ever known to write his first inaugural address as a law student in Tallahassee. What an extraordinary experience for a young person. I will never forget it. And finally, my last word is, and I don't want to hurt your feelings, Charlie, because would Charlie leave? Charlie left. Oh, Charlie, how can you leave me? So I'm going to talk now about the greatest sports moment I have enjoyed in recent memory. My kids and grandchildren came in, and Diane and I were sitting in the kitchen, and I got sports on. And they said, Papa, you're watching ladies softball? Yeah, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And so for 4 games, I watched unbelievable athleticism. I watched people with joy that they were doing what they're doing, win or lose, just unbelievable commitment to each other and the joy of the game. And what the word that came to me was the honesty of it. And I said, thank you, Title IX. And I said, that is what it's all about, which is sports are like life. It's challenging. It's difficult. It's not so easy. It can be extraordinarily rewarding and can be inspirational, as that certainly was. Now, my last word, and it is my last word, is our family lives on Key Biscayne. We were the victims of Hurricane Andrew. Our whole group lives on Key Biscayne. We were in the eye wall of Key Biscayne. And it's the most miserable year of my life in the sense it was so depressing. It was so, our house did fine. We got power back, but every leaf on every tree was gone. Our neighbors were hurting. The community was hurting. It was just really awful. But it ended. And so when I see what's happening in Northwest Florida, and Diane and I kept a boat on Shell Point for years when we were here, so I know the area, sailed it for many years, is that there is a pain that's greater than can ever be communicated on television. There's no picture that can show what really is there. You have to live it and see it. And the gratitude that will exist for the people who have other people who they don't know and never knew, who will do something more with their lives than just do everything every day what they do, but go out of their way to help other people recover from such a god-awful disaster. That is what we're about. That's what America's about. And God bless America. Thank you.